Welcome everyone to the CK12 Certified Educator Program. We're so excited to have you all here for today's session called Introduction to CK12. We're coming to you live from the CK12 offices in Palo Alto, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm Lindsay, a member of the CK12 team.
And I'm Katie, also a member of the CK12 team. We're so excited that you're joining us today for our summer programming. As most of you know, this new CK12 Certified Educator Program offers 30 sessions over 4 weeks. We've designed this program specifically for you, the teachers, administrators, curriculum developers, and others who want to use CK12's quality content.
Katie, before we dive into the details of the program and the rest of today's content, let's make sure we introduce everyone to the Zoom webinar platform. When you register for a CK12 webinar, you receive a registration confirmation from Zoom that has a unique link especially for you.
Now you can join a webinar session with that unique link, as I'm sure you all have figured out, but you can do so from a desktop computer, a tablet, and even a mobile device. You will receive an email reminder from us 24 hours ahead of your scheduled webinar, as well as 1 hour before the webinar begins. When it's about time, click the link and join the session. Once you are a viewer, you should see 2 different options on your screen, one for Q&A and one for chat.
So during today's presentation, or any presentation, whenever you have a question for our moderators or instructors or guests, we want you to post those questions in the Q&A window. That's the best place for us to stay organized with your questions to make sure that they get answered. As you guys have already discovered, the chat window is a place for community conversation. We would love anytime you join one of our webinars this summer for you to introduce yourselves. You're welcome to share where you live, what grade or subject you teach. What you need to be aware of, though, is that we want you to change that arrow drop-down menu option to say all panelists and attendees. By default, it's set to all panelists, but if you want everybody to see what you're typing in the chat window, do change that to all panelists and attendees.
And while we don't anticipate any technical issues during our broadcast, if you are having trouble with your video or sound, please let us know in the Q&A or chat window, and we'll do our best to help you resolve the issues. So, now that you are all comfortable with Zoom, let's get started with today's core content. Today's session is really the foundation for the CK12 Certified Educator Program, and our goal today is to get you started. During the webinar, which is scheduled to last about an hour, we're going to give you all of the details about the program, including what you can expect and how to complete certification. We'll then go into a brief overview of CK12, including who we are, where we started, and how we personalize learning. A lot of people know us for our free digital textbooks called Flexbooks, but over the years we've become so much more than that with our concept-based learning, interactives, and adaptive practice. So we'll go into what concept-based learning means for us. Finally, we'll make sure all of you are signed up and signed in on our site, and we'll give you a quick tour to navigate with ease, including an overview of our newest features just launched in the past few months. So even veteran CK12 users will see something new. Plus, we're so excited to have Mira with us today. She is the executive director and co-founder of the CK12 Foundation, and her vision has kept us going for 10 years. It's really special that she's joining us to share her vision and philosophy with you and give you a chance to ask her any questions about CK12.
But before we hear from Niru, let's talk about the Certified Educator Program and its requirements. So what does it actually mean to become a CK12 Certified Educator, and how do you do that? The first basic requirement is that successful completion of this program means registering for and attending a series of 7 sessions this summer. Of those 7 sessions, 2 are mandatory, which is this session, the Introduction to CK12, and a culminating session called Maximizing Learning with CK12. To enhance or to help you structure your sessions in a way that best fits your learning needs, we've established training pathways for you to consider when registering.
The first pathway is what we call the content pathway. In this pathway, we cover concept-based modalities and our customizable Flexbooks. Whether you're in an adoption cycle and considering going with CK12 resources, or you're already using Flexbooks but looking to go beyond existing books to customize content, this pathway is for you. We're here to help with editing, from basics to embedding practice and using the math editor. And we'll share examples of teaching strategies and how others are using CK12 in their classes.
The second pathway is the intelligent pathway, including sessions on practice, groups, and seeing student progress. The main difference between this pathway and the content pathway is that there's less of a focus on flexbooks and more of a focus on our adaptive practice and intelligent system. This is great for those of you who already customize flexbooks and want to better incorporate assignments in your class, either using CK12 groups or integrated learning management systems.
Our last pathway gives you the option to build your own learning schedule for this summer. This allows you to take multiple 101 classes to get an overview of CK12 resources, or advanced editing and customizing practice to learn more about specific features. Plus, you can take more than the required 7 sessions, and maybe even join us for all of them.
I think that's getting a little more difficult to join us for all of them, as we are, this has been a 4-week program, and we are on week 3. So you guys have the rest of this week and then all next week to try to get in as many sessions as you can. So again, whether you are on a set pathway or designing your own experience, whatever you choose to do is great with us. You're going to master comprehensive skills for customizing and delivering content. And we are giving you certification if you complete this program at no cost. And hopefully you appreciate being able to do it on your own schedule. We also hope that you'll advertise your CK12 certified educator status with your professional networks, on your web pages, and through social media. We have a shiny new badge for you to make this statement.
One of the most exciting pieces to come out of this program for us is having a whole group of you that know about CK12 and can continue to share it with others. Whereas one of your biggest benefits of participating is joining other educators from around the world. As of today, we have over 1,400 users signed up for the program from over 65 countries, and this number is growing all the time. We're hoping that in addition to learning more about CK12, this program will connect you with the greater professional learning community and network of educators in your geographic or subject area.
To help foster this growing community, we have several things set up for you. The first one is our CK12 Cafe, which is a place for teachers and students to get help and to have discussions. I would encourage you all to join the general Jumpstart for Educators Cafe. Here you're able to reply to our posts and introduce yourself and where you're from, or you can also start a new thread with any questions you have about CK12 or the Certified Educator Program.
We also have office hours specifically for these summer sessions. So we've been doing this every Friday throughout the summer, and we have more this Friday and next Friday as well. Individuals or groups of teachers can sign up for a 30-minute session with CK12 team members. To do this, go to our CK12.org Certified 2017 page. That's our program page. We'll keep referencing that throughout this webinar. And there you can choose a time slot and sign up. You'll receive a confirmation email, and we'll follow up with details for joining us for that window of time. During office hours, you can get specific questions answered about CK12, just like you can here in our webinars, or you can tell us more about your school or district, and we can talk about suggestions and best practices for you. It's very informal. We're just here to help you through this program.
So just to quickly recap, here are the things that you need to do to complete the summer certification program. We need you to attend 7 live sessions. Complete the accompanying assignments. Each take 20 to 30 minutes. We like to think that they average out about 20 minutes. And then complete the final feedback form to request your certification. And at that point, that's it. Welcome to CK12 Certified Educator Status.
Now, as Lindsay just said, for each session you attend, we've created an accompanying assignment. This is required to become CK12 certified. Now, they're aimed for 20, maybe 30 minutes, but they probably, if you're brand new to CK12, there will be a little time onboarding, and then they'll speed up as you get more and more familiar with the site. So just keep that in mind as you're working through those projects. But they're designed to complement the webinars with steps to explore CK12, give you a start on customization, and think about your next steps in this process. You'll have about a week to complete each of these Google Forms, which we'll share in the chat window. They're also on our program page, and you'll get a follow-up email 24 hours after any webinar with a link to that as well.
Yeah, like Katie said, you'll find the assignments and even more information and resources on our certified page at www.ck12.org/certified2017. So this is the main page that has everything you need to know: your office hours, resources, help articles for each session. And then we record all of these sessions, and it takes us about 24 hours or so to get them uploaded to the website. But you will see all of the recordings for every session that we do in the archived webinar section at the bottom of the Certified 2017 page.
Now at the top of that page, or by going to ck12.org/jumpstart, you can kind of click on the link from that page and get over to this one. And you can register for any session at any time that's still upcoming in the program. So if you're joining us today and you haven't signed up for a full program with 7 sessions, it's not too late to create your own pathway. You would need to kind of watch the recorded version of adopting CK12, as our last offering of that was this morning. But you can always see that on our webinars page. And then you can sign up for kind of either the practice intelligent pathway or make your own custom pathway and become CK12 certified.
All right, so let's go through a few frequently asked questions before we really dive into the heart of our programming today. So we say you have to attend 7 live sessions. What happens if you have to miss a live session? You can miss 1 live session, watch the recording, and turn in the assignment, and still meet the requirements of this program. So we let you sub 1 live session with 1 recording if you need to do that. How can I cancel a session? Your reminder emails that you get a day in advance and then an hour before a session starts, they contain a link for cancellation. So you can always click on that link and cancel if you're not able to attend. You can also email jumpstart@ck12.org if you need any help with cancellation or with your registration. And then, can I get professional development credit or CEUs from my district for participating in the program? We get that one a lot, and the answer is it depends. We're going to provide you a certificate documenting the hours for any live webinar session you attend. But then it's up to you and your district to figure out how they're going to interpret or honor those hours for professional development credit.
So that was a lot of information. We want to emphasize that it's okay not to get certified too. Our intent is to give you professional development, and we don't want the program's requirements to get in the way of your learning. Feel free to register for individual webinars at any time, and you can always watch the archived webinars on your own schedule, or join us for more webinars throughout the school year. It's your summer right now and your experience.
All right, at this point, I think it's appropriate to ask what you all are thinking about certifications. So we're going to launch a poll that you should be seeing on your screen. And we are asking you this question. After learning more about the CK12 Certified Educator Program, which pathway do you intend to complete this summer? Your options are content, intelligence, custom, or no pathway. There are no right or wrong answers here. We're just curious what you have to say, so I'll give you a few more seconds to lock in your answers. Looks like about most of you have it. We'll give you just a couple more seconds here. Okay. So we're sharing the results with you on the screen here. It might be about probably what we would guess, that so the majority of you have created your own experience for this summer, which is awesome. That's what we want you to do, and that's one of the many really powerful features of CK12 is that we're always wanting to customize things and make it fit your learning needs. Then coming in second, I guess, is a lot of you who are working on building Flexbooks. And then a lot of you who are also doing the intelligent pathway. So that's a good mix there. So let's stop. I don't know. I'm going to kick it over to Katie, and we're going to see what kind of questions have been coming in. If you guys have any questions, again, please type them in the Q&A window. We'll answer some live. And our team, we've got Star, we've got Andrew, we've got Mira, we've got a bunch of people here answering questions via text as well. So Katie, what do you have for us?
So it looks like we have a couple of questions just in regards to people that maybe have already started this program and are trying to confirm whether or not they turned in homework or were recorded as being in a webinar. At the 24 hours after each webinar ends, you get a confirmation email that either says, "We're sorry you missed this, and here's where you can go sign up for more sessions," or "Thank you for attending." So that's your confirmation that you were noted as being in that webinar. And then in terms of homework, for all the homework until the very last one, which is the maximizing one, which is a confirmation screen, you should get an email confirmation through the Google form that you turned in for that homework. So if you're not seeing that for any reason, you can email Jumpstart and we can look stuff up for you. But all of your kind of confirmations and tracking should be in email format in your inbox. So go ahead and check that, or check spam if you're losing some of those pieces. So those are just kind of some logistics question. In terms of mandatory, this is one of those sessions, and then we're offering the last 2 days of the program, our Maximizing Learning with CK12 session. So if you need to count one of those as your kind of buy in terms of being live, then make sure you watch the recording of those and do those pieces, and then attend kind of 6 others live as you're working your way through.
And then we had a question about office hours. Is that something that's available year-round? We don't have office hours like we do during the summers where you're able to log onto the website and schedule your own, but we do have an extremely supportive small team here. But when you email support@ck12.org, if you're working with a team of teachers, if you need to speak to any of us live, that option to contact us is available year-round, and we will always assist you in any way that we can. Let's see what other questions we have going in here. What happens if you get kicked out of a session on Zoom and it restarts? If you have any technical issues, I don't know if that's about documenting your attendance. We do have records of every time you would leave a webinar and come back in, and we actually get timestamps and things like that on your attendance. So that's not a problem for your attendance in this program here.
We have a question about adding other classes. You know, really when you do that registration, if you've already filled it out once, you just need to include your email and your name when you're adding extra classes in there. So just go ahead to that same registration page, go to the individual webinars part and add in those pieces. And there are overlaps if you're looking to do kind of both the Flexbook and the adaptive practice or intelligent pathways. The intro and conclusion and our interactive sessions are in both. You can actually just sign up for all of them in a customizing, and you only need to attend one version of any titled session as you work your way through. So I think with that, we're going to move forward. So we're going to kind of move into who CK12 is and how that works. So the CK12 Foundation, which was founded 10 years ago in 2007, is a leading nonprofit organization dedicated to improving student learning by increasing access to educational materials through the Flexbook platform and concept-based modalities.
So what does all of that mean? Well, we at CK12 believe every child on this planet should have equal access to great education. All students are unique. Each has a different pace of learning, different interests, and different goals. But with limited time and resources, it's a challenge to treat students as individuals and cater to their varied needs. Our philosophy is that learning is a personal journey. The CK12 Foundation was founded with the mission to enable everyone to learn in his or her own way. So we pair high quality content with the latest technologies. We equip students, teachers, and parents with everything they need for free.
Now, CK12 is able to offer its resources for free thanks to the generous funding of a private family foundation. So not only are we a nonprofit, but we are a non-revenue nonprofit. So you won't be asked for your credit card information on our site, you won't hit a paywall, you won't be bombarded with advertisements. Free means free on CK12.
Although it is offered for free, when you use a CK12 resource, you can trust that it's the highest quality. CK12 is used across the world by students, teachers, and districts because it is the best content, not because it is free. We visit schools all the time, including schools who aren't really bound by any budget constraints. And they use CK12 because they know it's what's best for student learning. Our content has been developed by over 100 PhDs, professors, teachers, authors, NASA scientists, and other subject matter and domain experts over the past 10 years. Our content is accessible. We've worked hard to make all of our content available across every platform in both print and digital format. And CK12's global impact is really quite incredible, with over 15 million active users, which was just last year alone, represented in over 200 countries worldwide.
Now, these are just a few of the many, many reasons why educators choose CK12. As part of our 10th anniversary, we've been traveling around the country and seeing how CK12 is being used as not only a cost-saving solution, but as the best curriculum for today's students. Let's share some of this, of our conversation with these districts in this 2.5-minute video.
Back in the summer of 2014, our superintendent challenged us to find a way to save a lot of money with textbooks. And so the way around the traditional adoption purchase of textbooks in our district was to go the CK12 route. We're such a large district, when we buy textbooks, they're about $85 each, and when you have to buy 18,000 at a time, it comes out to be between $1.5 and $2 million. If you're not spending that money on textbooks, you can spend it on something else, and that's what we decided to do.
We needed new materials. We had materials that were quite old, and we weren't engaging our kids in science. So we wanted to look for a new way to be able to teach and learn with our students. CK12 was an obvious choice for us for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we were able to experience some cost savings with it. The content is rich, it's engaging to students, and it's flexible. So it allows us to really tailor the tools to meet the needs of the instruction.
We really have come to see this product come to life in the classroom. Our teachers have really taken this product and incorporated it into their daily instruction. Their students are even creating their own textbook. So if we have language learners, if we have special education students, or just an individual who is ready to advance for pursuing, the information that's available, online textbook allows us to customize that and allows students, teachers, parents even to explore that.
As we think about customizable content, it's a tool that we use to buy relevance with our kids. In using the CK12 content, we have the ability to upgrade, update, and customize every math problem, every science experiment with people, places, and things that our students know and understand. We buy relevance that can't be purchased in textbooks.
If you can engage student, you're going to increase learning. And I believe that with the different modalities that CK12 provides for our students to learn, a student is going to find a component within CK12 that brings that learning to life for them.
If you want to hear more from our users, you can go to our new CK12 Testimonials page and hear what other teachers, administrators, and students from all across the country are saying about CK12. You can access that page from the footer of most of your pages where it says testimonials, or it is ck12.org/testimonials. And we're going to be highlighting many of these throughout all of our presentations this summer.
Now, like the banner says there, CK12 is trusted worldwide. With users around the world, this map gives you a sense of CK12's reach, with more users being added each minute. We hope throughout this program you are able to interact with people in your area who are working toward common goals.
People often wonder how large the workforce is behind the CK12 learning platform. And while, believe it or not, this website's run by a small team of about 35 people in Palo Alto, with a few colleagues working outside of California and in our India office. And of course, dozens of subject matter experts, educators, and editors help us create the highest quality content. We love what we do, and we're thrilled to give people all over the world access to free, high-quality resources.
So right now, I'd like to introduce Mira, who is CK12's Executive Director and Co-founder. As we said, it's exciting that she's joining us, and we want you to type any questions in the Q&A window that you might have for her. So Mira, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me?
You're good, thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you so much. This is very exciting to see so many people and teachers interested in using CK12. Katie Hammond and Lindsay Kincaid have done a wonderful job on these webinars, and I really do want to thank them to help all the teachers so that they can actually help improve their student learning. I'm a mother of 4 children, and I have a background in molecular biology. I was doing research at Stanford. Because of children, I had to give up that research work, and then I embarked on education. Learned a lot, and the reason that I started doing this was my children got great education, and I asked myself, why is it that we cannot give great education to all students? And this is why we started on a digital world, and we started doing content, because that was one of the starting point, and also very expensive, especially in the US of A. And so we started creating customizable books, because one of the things we realized that books are what was being used 10 years ago in the classroom, and they still are, and they will be for a long time, at least I believe. But there's another way to help students across the world, because in math and science, we all learn the same thing. And we also think that since everyone is, as our statement said, philosophy statement said, mission statement said, that we also, not only is the journey personal for each student, it's also additive. So when you want to learn something, you have to learn one step at a time and build on that. And a teacher mentor is actually a very important component of learning, whether it's a parent or a teacher or whoever the mentor is. There needs to be somebody who helps do that. Based on that, we started building the content, and pretty soon we started building not just the content, but actually the reasons to find out how learning happens. So as we started building an intelligent system, the reason was that we wanted each child to know where they were in their own learning journey, and to be able to use that as to keep going to the next level without feeling any fear of being punished or being ashamed of where they were. And so we kept building the system, and now you have a system that's not just only textbooks, but it's content, it's got an intelligent component to it, and we are keeping this completely free so that you can do what you need to do and students can learn what they need to learn. Feedback is very important. It's part of learning process. So we've invested a lot of effort into giving people the ability to know what they're doing, where they are, and what's missing. And that's with the help of data system. I know this data word is a little bit frightening, but to be able to help everyone, we need to know how they're doing something. So we are providing that capability based on the data and based on the teacher's input, how the student is doing and where they need to go and what's missing. So, yep. So Charlene's asking, how is the company able to provide this for free? I normally don't like to, but I will tell you that my family foundation is supporting this effort because I'm very passionate and we're very committed to education. So each student and each child can have a future, a chance in the future. So my family is funding this effort. We've been funding it for 10 years, and we have a commitment to keep doing it till we have users. If there's any other questions? Yeah.
So it looks like we have a question about the chances about kind of copyright. So our copyright license is Creative Commons non-commercial attribution license. So we go through and we make sure, we wrote most of our own content, or it was specifically donated to us. So all of our CK12 content, you shouldn't worry about that at all. It's licensed under that piece. All of the teachers that are republishing and posting are doing so if they have the rights to do that. So that's what that license and agreement says in our piece. You can always check in with them, post a comment on their book, ask them what their vetting process was like if you're looking at anything created by a user and you're curious more about what that looks like. But in publishing it, they're publishing it under our license and going from there. So I would kind of say with our content, we wrote it, you're good to go. And if you have any questions about any of the user content, even though it's under our license, you can kind of post on their thing and ask them accordingly.
So we are very committed to whatever we provide, that it's quality and that it's vetted. In general, the content that we provide, we try to vet that, we make that a quality content through the process that we've been working on in the last 10 years, very similar to what the process the publishers follow, the writing, the quality assurance, the editing, the making sure everything is right. And if there's ever any content that seems like somebody else's content, it's very hard for us to kind of figure out that it's someone else's content. But we would like people to write to us, and we've committed to taking it off as soon as we hear about it. Our intention is not to take someone else's content and live on it. Our intention is to give you the right to do this, to customize it for your students' need, for your needs, your school's need, to your environment's need. This is why we created the content. This is why we own that, so that we can give it to you to do what you have to do. So if you see anything that you feel is not, that shouldn't belong to CK12, do not hesitate to write to us. Do not hesitate to write to us if you feel something isn't quality or right, because that's what we're all about. We fix that for you.
Mira, I don't know if you can see that comment that's in the chat that says that amazing that the Costa family has made free educational resources. Thank you. And this comes up time and time again in our webinars, some that you aren't a guest on. But truly, I want to tell everybody out there of it's amazing to work here. We're not trying to sell you anything. We are just simply trying to give you guys the tools you need to take these amazing resources and use them in your classroom for free. So, and that is Niru and her family who's made all of that possible. So, so thank you. So I don't know if you're able to stay on here with us for a little bit, but I think we're going to keep going with the presentation. And if you guys have additional questions about anything for Niru, about the Costa family, or about CK12 in general, I think we're going to keep going with our presentation, and we'll be able to answer more of your questions. So I'm going to steal the screen back here for a minute, and I want to give you a little bit more of the history, because all of this didn't happen overnight, which I think is, part of our big success here of 10 years, is that it's all been with a lot of thought and a lot of effort and some really amazing team members and leaders to make this happen. So like we said, CK12 was founded in 2007, and so this is 10 years, which for ed tech, it's like dog years or something. It's like a million years in ed tech. It's a lot of years, 10 years. We're very proud of it. In 2008, Flexbooks launched with fully customizable math and science textbooks, free to the world to download or view online. And then in 2010, CK12 added teacher editions that offered extensions like workbooks and quizzes and tests with corresponding answer keys. In 2011, our concept collections were introduced. So unlike our original Flexbooks that offer full lesson plans and follow the structure of what you'd find in a more traditional textbook, these concept collections deconstruct the books into bite-sized chunks of information, similar to how teachers want to teach and how students want to learn.
Now in 2012, we continued to break our content down into these individual concepts and present them in multiple modalities to fit different learning styles, allowing all students to learn their way and on any device, since that was also the year when CK12 became available across desktops, tablets, and mobile phones. To encourage discussion and collaboration, classes and study groups were created in 2013, and this allowed students to share CK12 resources and for teachers to create class assignments. Now, the latest, greatest initiatives from CK12 continue to develop personalized learning experiences through our simulations and Plix interactives, as well as our intelligent adaptive practice system that offers over 150,000 math, science, and spelling practice questions.
So we just told you that we took our Flexbooks and broke them down into bite-sized concepts. So here is circular motion. That's an example of one of these concepts. Like when a student might go to Google and search for circular motion, they can do the same thing on CK12 and arrive at a concept page that looks just like this, with content that has been curated and vetted by us. This is where students can really learn their way through these different modalities, such as simulations, study guides, reads, Plix, the things that you're seeing there on the screen. Unlike when students are learning through just a printed text where all they can do is read, CK12 concepts come alive with the interactive content. You know, these days, students no longer want to look through a table of contents. They don't want to look at an index. They want to use a search bar, and they want to have a choice about how they learn any concept. Also, what a great tool for students who want to get ahead or those who need different information or options to learn a concept. This page truly differentiates learning.
As you saw, there are a number of different ways to learn any concept on CK12, and we enrich every concept with modalities to help meet students' needs in the best way possible. So what is a modality? Our core modalities include text, simulations, interactive Plix, videos, practice, and even real-world applications. You're going to learn more about these different types of modalities throughout all of our summer sessions. But let's see what you're already using. We're going to launch a poll, and please take a few seconds to answer and tell us if you're using any of these particular modalities in your classroom, and you can click as many as apply to your class. So it looks like we're going to give you guys another couple of seconds to kind of finish putting stuff in there. Go ahead, and then we'll wrap that up and share those results. So it looks like it's not surprising that kind of our videos and our text are some of the core pieces. That's kind of a standard way to deliver content. But it's great to see that some of you guys are already using our interactives and our assessments, that adaptive practice piece. And then some of you may be new to CK12, and we love kind of sharing CK12 with people that are new. If you missed this poll, don't worry about it. Hopefully you can kind of see what that looks like at this point in time. And yeah, we're gonna move forward from there.
So we're talking about concepts, and you can connect all of these concepts with one of our newer features that's called the concept map. Our platform allows teachers and students to choose their own pathways of teaching and learning, but we provide tools like this concept map to show how the concepts relate to one another, even across disciplines. So as you encounter links for the concept map on our website, you'll probably want to take a few minutes and explore this rich tool.
So I think we're going to just answer a couple questions that seem to be coming in regarding content writers and volunteering content. So all of our core content was developed in kind of a similar way to what you would expect from a publisher. We had looked at scope and sequences. We had domain experts kind of work through that content. It was peer reviewed, it was tech edited and copy edited, and then published. And that's kind of our core content as we worked our way through. Beyond that, we also have content that you'll see under CK12 that we continue to kind of work with that was donated specifically to us from people like NASA and Stanford and other professors. So those volunteer some of those were donated content, and then the content that we kind of commissioned and had built directly for us went through kind of the similar process that I was just talking about as well. So you'll see both of those options. We had some people ask about donating their own content. Please get in touch with us at support@ck12.org and we can talk about what that might look like. But if you just want to use our platform for your own class, by all means, go ahead and do that with anything that fits under that license. And then we had one question here about students customizing their own profiles for topics, or can the teacher set them up? Really, they just need to note their name and that they're a student, and then anything beyond that is extra, so you can kind of add those pieces in, but whatever you assign won't really be affected by that at this time, so you should be all set.
All right, so good questions, keep them coming. But to set you up for success this summer, and since we know that you're going to be excitedly exploring CK12 as soon as you get off this webinar, we want you to take a quick tour of how to sign in, how to navigate, and explore all CK12 has to offer. So we're going to do a live demo here. We're also going to highlight many of the new features that we've just launched in the past few months.
Great. So with that, let me share my screen. So hopefully you can see our CK12 homepage right here. As we talked about, we ask that you join us and sign in. It's super quick to join. You can just click the little join button. You can sign up with Google, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, or use your own email. If you already have an account, then I recommend signing up the same way every time and signing in that way. So for example, I'm going to sign in because I'm logged into Google and that's my account already. And that will quickly sign me in because we use emails as our unique identifiers. So you want to make sure that if you need to update your email, you do it under settings within your account here. And that otherwise, if you create a new account with that new email address, it will be a separate account. So just keep that in mind as you work your way through. Once you log in, you'll get taken to your dashboard. If you've kind of picked your subjects already here, you can see new content or recently viewed groups. You can kind of navigate via this top part right here. I could click on the groups part here, and it would take me to my group activity. I have some students in here doing work, which is great. The library is where you'll find all of the content that you've been working on and customizing, so you'll see anything there. And then we may have referenced the cafe already, but the same deal again. This is a great place to post questions and try to connect with other users in your area. And then if you choose to browse, you could browse from here and kind of your subjects here, or show all of them that CK12 offers. Or you could do the same thing from the homepage. And this CK12 logo will take you to the homepage. And so this is the teacher version of the homepage. I'll point out a couple of differences. You can see the student version, actually, even if you're a teacher, if you just want to see what that looks like for a sec. And they have kind of the summer practice program thing here and some study guide resources. But otherwise, the teacher version has links to schools. So that's kind of user-created content that's posted their own school page. It has a link to our summer program here. And then here you'll see a standards aligned flexbook search. So you could search for kind of standards alignment books, or you could do the same thing through our standards browser up here. And we're going to cover more of those in our flexbook sessions, so definitely join us for that. But we just want to kind of give you a super quick overview right now so you know what to start looking for as you work your way through. Now, if you're not really sure what to do, you're not really sure if you want to browse, if you want to browse our interactives here, simulations or Plix, you want to browse our practice system, or you want to look at subjects, you can always go through that way. But you can also search for something. So I could search for circular motion, which is what Lindsay was looking up beforehand. And our search allows you to kind of filter based on grades, based on different modality types. So whether I want a text or video or something like that. You'll see here our CK12 content. So this is the content that we continually update and curate. And that's kind of where you can see all of our core content. And then you can click on community contributed if you wanted to see what other users have republished under our license and kind of filter that way. Or you could see your content in your library that matches what you just pulled up. So different options kind of as you go through there. If you did the same thing for a non-STEM subject, so if I did literature, for example, I could search for something that CK12 might not have a lot of resources for, but I could click on the community contributed tab and all of a sudden there's a few hundred resources for literature here that other users have created. So whether you find them here or you find them in our CK12 kind of the schools page, that's options as you work your way through. Now, if I went back to that home page and I clicked on that schools page, I'll just show you for a second what that looked like. So you could kind of sort by state and pull up the resources that they've published there. Or instead of searching for a topic, I could always browse a topic. So we were just talking about circular motion. Let's look at an algebra topic. Here you'll see all of these concepts that we broke them into. And let's say I picked a particular topic here and went to that concept page. It looks exactly like the one that, well, different resources and topics, but the idea is the same as the circular motion one, where you have different options here, some text, an interactive, a video, some practice that goes with this topic, which happens to be variables. So I could access all of those resources from this page here. If I went back a step, and instead of clicking into the concept itself, I looked at the available flexbooks for any particular topic. You can see here flexbooks for middle school. You can see flexbooks for high school, kind of for any branch that spans both topics. If I scroll all the way down, you can see any of our concept books that have already been translated into Spanish, or I can sort based on language availability up here, kind of go from there, back to all of them. And you'll also see kind of levels, basic, at grade, advanced for anything that's available there. And that just kind of allows you to differentiate even more. Now, one thing to know, you'll see here our Algebra 1 Concepts book, and down here our Algebra 1 Second Edition book. So our original books were more like a traditional textbook with multiple concepts in any lesson. And then we took those and we broke them down. So for any chapter kind of in Algebra 1 here, you'll see more sections within that chapter that cover narrower topics. So that's really just kind of broken down piece. But if I went into this particular book here, and I looked at the first section, so chapter 1, equations and functions, definition of a variable, you'll see the content in here. And it might include examples, it might include videos that are embedded, it'll include some practice questions at the end, kind of all these different resources. And then because it's at the concept level, it's going to link to those resources that you also saw on that same concept page earlier. And one newer feature that I definitely want to point out is our offline reader option. So we have apps for our Flexbooks and Sims and Practice, and those allow you to access stuff on a phone or a tablet. But we wanted to really make our content as accessible as possible. So by clicking on this offline reader, I could open this book in a tab for Chrome, and I could either download the full book or any chapter offline, and that would then allow me to access that book even when I wasn't on kind of the network. So that's a great way for students to get the newest updated content. Maybe they download a chapter at a time on their computer, or they can do the same thing using our Flexbook app. So definitely check out that piece as we work through here. So this is one of the few places that is different between teachers and students, kind of any of the sections within our concept collections. So I'm going to take 2 seconds and I'm going to share the student version of this page. So if I went into the student page And let's see if that actually switched over. There we go. You guys can see the little brainy jumping up and down there. If I went into the same section, so algebra, then to my flexbook and my concept collection, whoop, it looks like we got a bump in there. So let's try to see if we can do that one more time. So it looks like it's not loading that page for right now. Let's go back to the other one for a second and I'll just describe it. I'm not sure what is causing that bump. But on the student version of this page here, and definitely if you have a student account or you have a student that can check it, you'd see over kind of on this right part here, and I'll try to get it up and running in a second to show you as well. But instead of the preview option where the teacher could preview and see our practice, the student version would actually have a practice widget to the right, and that would kind of show you that piece. So you could actually see it in practice right there, and students could access it. And then if you had assigned that particular practice, not necessarily the read, but the practice itself, and they worked on that practice while they were going through the read, then you'd actually be able to see that report in your groups, either through an integrated learning management system or through your group within CK12. So while we're talking about that, on any of our pages, if you went all the way to the bottom, here's our link to our Certified Educator Program page. And then here's the links to the tools and apps. And so if we went there, you can see our Flexbook app, which is very much like that offline reader. And it allows you to download our books, and you can kind of access them through browse for any CK12 book, or through a browser on your phone and then open in this app for any user-created or customized book. Our Sims app for physics sims does the same thing. It allows you to access our simulations offline, so students can use them all on a tablet without kind of crashing the network if you have a limited bandwidth. And then the practice app, because it's adaptive, does require that you're on a network, but it allows students to do practice on their phone or tablet as well. And below that, you'll see kind of integration with Google Classroom, Edmodo, Schoology, Canvas, etc. And one thing you're going to want to know, we're working on enhancing our integration with Google Classroom. So shortly, you'll be able to actually see grades on how students did in CK12 within Google Classroom. So those are kind of all sorts of the highest level quick, here's all the things you want to start exploring. And so I recommend that you start exploring those areas. And then as you join us for other sessions, we'll go into each part in more depth.
Okay, so I'm going to take the screen back here, and looks like we still have a few more minutes if you guys are wanting to get any questions before we formally wrap up here. But I want to talk to you about assignments. So for all of you guys who are working on a pathway to earn CK12 certification, you're going to need to complete the accompanying assignment after each session. And for this one, you can find the assignment at the link up here at the top of the screen, or it's going to be posted in the chat window as well. We use tiny URLs just to keep things neat and tidy here. So this is tinyurl.com/CEP17 intro. And so you can go to that link. This is also going to be on a page I'm going to show you here in a second. So if you didn't write that down, that's okay. And then you will get this in the email that goes out 24 hours after the webinar has finished. But for this particular assignment, you're asked to complete work in 3 sections. The first section is going to ask you about your learning goals for the summer and what skills you're hoping to develop or what resources you're hoping to create on CK12. The second helps you to explore CK12's concepts and get a better idea of what resources best meet your needs. And then the third section asks you to join the CK12 Jumpstart for Educators Cafe and begin interacting with the hundreds of program participants. So we ask that you complete these assignments within about a week. We keep records of your completion as you work toward your CK12 certified status. So if you're on this webinar and you're hearing me talk right now, we have record that you attended. When you submit your assignment, we will have record of your assignment. And we can match all that up at the end to show that you completed your certification. Want to encourage you to attend some upcoming sessions. Here are some that we have tomorrow and Thursday. If you are interested in doing more with assigning concepts or setting up your classes and CK12 groups and starting to assign some practice, I'd love it if you could join us tomorrow morning when we're talking Groups and Practice 101. That's the first step to doing all that. In the afternoon, we're going to be talking about Flexbooks 101, the first steps in taking a Flexbook and starting the customization process. And then Thursday in the AM, we have customizing practice, where we take Groups and Practice and go even more in depth about making quizzes and kind of using it as an assessment tool for your students. And then using practice in groups with students. This is when we take a step back and we talk about, all right, now that you know how to use the tools, here's how you can use it in your classrooms with your students. So if you're still needing to register for any sessions, you can do that at ck12.org/jumpstart. Also, as we progress through the summer, after every webinar session, we do encourage you guys to submit some feedback to us. So this is a general link that is good for every session that you attend. If you ever want to give us some comments, whether it's something we did really well or something that didn't go so well for you, we read all of your comments, and we've been taking those into consideration as we've been working on our program. So let us know at CEP 2017 feedback if there's anything you can tell us about how things went for your webinar. So again, thanks for joining us. We're gonna stay on. There are quite a few questions here. So after I finish this little spiel, we're gonna stay on and we're gonna answer any questions that still happen. But as you guys are working, if you need any support from CK12, email support@ck12.org and we'll be able to answer your questions. And then we've had quite a bit of social media activity in addition to our cafes this summer. So you can find us, if you're not already following us, on Facebook and Twitter at CK12 Foundation, or you're welcome to hashtag CK12 Foundation. We love seeing your tweets and how you guys are encouraging others to get involved in this professional development. So we're about to hit the hour mark. So for you guys who need to head off on this webinar, you're welcome to sign off now. For you guys with open questions or want to hear answers to more questions, please stay on. I'm going to kick it back over to Katie, and she's going to start tackling this Q&A.
So actually, even before I do that, I'm going to share my screen one last time. I did get that page to load just so you guys can see what this looks like. So this is the same definition of variable in the student account, and you can see this practice right here. So a student could kind of answer these questions. They might get kind of a hint, or they could use our scratch pad there. So all sorts of options as they're working their way through. So that's something to just keep in mind, that that's kind of one new thing that we're testing out with students to see if that helps them as they're reading it directly to kind of practice it in the moment. We have a couple questions just about Zoom and the program as a whole. Chat, if you're trying to continue a conversation in chat, we really recommend using the forum. The chat window closes at the end of the webinar. So that information, we all encourage you kind of in your first round of assignments to introduce yourself in the forum. So go ahead and do that and jump back into those conversations there. For Q&A, a lot of the questions are kind of repetitive over the course of the whole summer program. So we're going to compile one large bucketed kind of by topic Q&A list for the program, and we'll post that on the program page when we're complete with that. So you'll be able to reference that in the future. And then if there's a question about dates that are coming up, so let me go back to kind of that program page so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to switch to the teacher version from here, and actually it didn't totally matter, but I can go to that Jumpstart page. And you'll see that right here, if I'm looking at these things, so this is the last session right now for the introduction to CK12, and our adopting CK12 has already finished. We did that this morning. And kind of we're in the last 2 weeks. We have 11 webinars that are different. And those ones are, like the ones that are coming up this week are not going to be repeated again next week because we're nearing the end of this program. So if you want to watch those recordings, you're welcome to do so. If you want to join us when we probably reoffer them at some point during the school year, you're welcome to do that. But at this point in time, if you want to use that as a webinar recording, you could do that. You would just need to take kind of 5 or 6 live sessions, 5 after this one, to get certified. So just kind of check that out. And then we had a question about Google Classroom. So my note is that currently, if I'm on any page on CK12, any of our core content pages, so if I went into a topic, let's pick kind of maybe a life science topic. At the bottom of all of our pages, you'll see this little green share plane, and that quickly links that and shares that content on Google Classroom. So I can actually, it will pop up Google Classroom, it would ask me to log in, and then I could share it as an assignment or a question. So right now you're really just sharing a link within Google Classroom. In other platforms like Edmodo and Canvas and Schoology, we have what's called grade passback, meaning that as students do work within the CK12 platform, it shows up in their gradebook on those learning management systems. And that's the integration we're working with for Google Classroom, so that if you assign work within Google Classroom, that you'll be able to see the students' grades within there as well. So that's kind of the upcoming piece. And then kind of in the same lines in terms of the program itself, you can see all those recordings, all of those webinar pages, if you go down to that Certified Educator Program page. So I'm just gonna click on that option, go to our main program page, and right here below all the listed ones are our archived webinars. So you'll see this was yesterday's session for Introduction to CK12, and within 24 hours, we'll post today's recording right next to it. So you'll be able to see that piece there. So let's see what other questions are coming in.
A question about videos being downloadable. If YouTube is blocked, can we save them locally? And all of our videos that appear in our Flexbook and on our site, we're using embed codes from something like YouTube or a service like Vimeo. So unfortunately, if that is blocked in your district, we don't have an easy way for you to download that unless you have software on your computer that allows you to do that. Have I heard any success stories from teachers' districts who use iTunes U and CK12? That's actually not anything that comes up very often. I don't think that that's our primary use case because we integrate with so many different learning management systems now, and because of our apps and our offline readers. You know, nobody, I don't think, is really using CK12, and I shouldn't say nobody, but it's not a common use case for us. Another question, I just registered for a couple webinars that I may need to change. Is there an easy way to see all of the webinars I've registered for? We wish. Believe it or not, no, we have to go through and look up that information by hand. So if you do need help, if you're not able to locate the registration receipts that were emailed to you, you can email us at jumpstart@ck12.org, and we're able to, on our end, look up what you've registered for. Just know that we do have to do it by hand, and we're happy to do that if you need that assistance. And then I'm interested in being a CK12 certified educator because I've used this program and believe in it for my kids. Can you share some benefits of becoming certified that I can share with other teachers at my school? Yes, I mean, you just nailed the most important benefit of people who are using CK12 in their schools. We feel like, I mean, I've been traveling around the country and seeing a lot of different users, and they're only using a small portion of what we offer. Because like one of the other users said, it can be overwhelming. We offer so much. So the benefit of being a CK12 certified educator, the obvious one, is that we're asking you to take sessions that span across Flexbooks, across adaptive practice, groups, simulations, Plex. You're going to see all of our different resources. You are going to be an expert. At the end of the summer, when we have this first kind of group of CK12 certified educators, we're also going to be getting in contact with you guys, that special group of people, more frequently about new and upcoming features, about ways to really be a champion for CK12 and be able to, you know, maybe do some training of other teachers. So I think there's a ton of benefit for it since it's a free program. It's offered on your own schedule. We're giving you a certification badge, and some people are using that for professional development. I don't know if I've sold you yet, Brandy, or your teachers, but if there's anything we can do to help you, there is a brochure that's on our page somewhere. Katie, if you scroll up, where do we put that? Under Maximizing Learning, maybe. There is a brochure. Yeah, we'll find where we put it somewhere. Because a few people were asking for kind of that one-page handout that they could take and show people about CK12. And so we've created something for you to do that. We just can't remember where we put it. So that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Katie for some more questions here.
So yeah, we'll get that under like the about CK12, just right underneath here from our users. So I think we had potentially put it in a couple places, but we'll make sure it's right there, kind of with an overview.
Adopting.
And I think it's under adopting as a reference. Here we go, the one-page brochure, because that's kind of the schools that we're looking at that. So you can find it there right now, and maybe we'll add it to the top as well. So that's one option. And then we had a question about, will the program expand to reach younger learners or do other subjects? So if you look at CK12's homepage, and I know that I demo a bunch of stuff, but so it sometimes only shows recently viewed stuff. We do have resources for K-5 science books. So you'll see some resources that just got launched this spring and into the summer. So those are brand new and awesome. So check those out. For K-5 mathematics, you'll see some videos and practice and the occasional interactive tossed in there. So that's one option for the lower grades. And then really I would recommend checking out the schools page. This is a student version, so let's switch over to the teacher page, and you can see kind of this schools option here that has resources, or searching for them if you're looking for other areas. And then we do have some scattered resources. Our writing has kind of some basic composition, and you'll see some other resources here in different areas. But a lot of those non-STEM and other grade areas, our users are starting to publish within our site. So I would recommend checking those out, as those are great resources for you to use in your class.
All right, well, I think that about wraps up our Q&A and wraps up this webinar session. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off. We hope to see you guys later in a future session, hopefully as soon as tomorrow. We'll see you then. Thank you so much.